Alright YouTube, for tonight's movie night I'll be seeing the 1996 movie Scream, which I have not seen in all these years, but I'm super excited to see it, so I'll give you guys a spoiler-free review after I see this. But before I do see Scream, I'm going to show you guys this little drawing, which is a fusion of Gengar from Pokemon and Fawful from Mario, which is quite the combo, and he's got two lightsabers, so he's a little bit of a sci-fi horror villain. As you guys know, I love the Gengar character. So I just watched and got back from Scream, and I certainly enjoyed this movie. Definitely a great 90s slasher horror film, but it feels a little more mysterious than horror-like and even comedic, but more like a dark comedy. Not too dark, of course, but definitely very engaging and very fun, which is ultimately what I want from a movie more than horror elements. Not that this movie didn't have horror elements, but I found it similar to Nightmare on Elm Street, but I honestly liked it even more, and I really liked the lead character, what's her name, Sydney. She was really interesting, and I also found, as like, I didn't mention the vlog, but this will be a spoiler-free review, so I'll say the reveals of who the masked killer was definitely interesting. And that side note, since it's October 5th, I'll show off my next Inktober drawing, which is the deer, and yes, that is the reindeer Rudolph, the red-nosed reindeer, so you know, sort of Christmas and Halloween fused together, although it's Inktober. Here we have another horror movie character, Mr. Count Orlok himself, which, speaking of which, Nosferatu, it's almost been a full year since that movie came out, and I really enjoyed it, but I have to say I honestly like Scream even more. And what I love about this movie overall, not to go in circles, is it's just so engaging and entertaining. There's never a dull moment, but it's not like over the top and bloody, and, you know, not that I'd have a problem with over the top and bloody, but overall, I love the simplicity of the killer, sort of, you know, he's just a guy in a Halloween costume, and it's not like a really weird costume. It's a pretty generic and basic costume. It's not even scary, which, you know, I just love sometimes, although I do love creativity and complex designs, that sometimes it's even cooler when something is just simple and basic, but not all the time. And I do really like a lot of the other characters, like especially the guy who was like geeky about movies, because he kind of reminded me of myself in some ways, but I also like the reporter and, you know, the cop, the young cop who is looking young for his age. He's, I believe, the same age as me, they said in the movie, and, you know, he looks young just like me. Overall, I can imagine the Scream movies that came after were less than stellar, if not terrible, as I've seen a lot of poor reviews when I search it up, but it's definitely a classic movie, great 1996 90s film. I'll look up more 1996 movies later and maybe give you guys a vlog about that, but overall, I'm really glad this movie came to theaters for spooky season, and I can't wait to watch more Halloween-like movies. So yeah, overall great movie. Love the characters, relatable, interesting, fun, engaging. So thank you guys so much for watching. I love Inktober 2. Goodbye.